Hey, welcome back to another PAX podcast where we love to talk about people, professionalism, and partnerships. Today, we're doing another driver special with Jamie Carey. Very excited for you to meet her. If you don't know her yet, she has a background in luxury sales, branding, and marketing, which is going to be a huge part of what we're talking about today on today's podcast. For you drivers, as we always talk about leveling up, we always talk about being professional and always seeing every person that gets in your car as an opportunity to close the deal, make them a forever customer of yours as they drive. So Jamie's going to be a huge impact in that. But I always love to start these podcasts with pointing out that this is real people. Like this is not just a brand. Or this is not these are people who have hearts and minds to help and be a positive impact here in the community. And Jamie, that is a huge part of what you do. It's one of the things I love most about you. I'm excited to get people introduced to that and exposed to that. So before we get into all that and jump into all that, though, give us a brief history on who you are, and then we'll move into why you started driving and how you got to know PAX. So give us a brief introduction, Jamie. Who are you, and tell us a little bit about your background.
So thank you so much, Dan. I grew up here in the Valley. I went to Tempe High School, graduated and took a volleyball scholarship to Southern California, and I never came back. Lived all over the world. I've lived in Europe, San Francisco, Boston, New York, Brooklyn, Vienna, Austria, Eastern and Western Europe. And then I came back to the Los Angeles area, raised my boys. I have two boys, raised them in Manhattan Beach for 23 years. They're in college now. And I sold my beach home and have moved back here to the Valley to spend some time with family. I've been here now a year and a half. Glad to be back. I started driving when I was in Manhattan Beach when my boys got into high school. So about 6 years ago, 7 years ago, I started driving for Lyft, black SUV. I had a really nice Audi Q7, drove around Manhattan Beach. And then from that, gathering those connections, I was contracted with 7 different families to drive their kids to school and pick up their kids from school and take their kids to after school activities, take the families to the airports. So that's how I started gathering my private clients. Then when I moved here, I realized I needed a bigger car because there's a lot of golfers, there's a lot of bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, families going to the airport. So I bought an Escalade in September, and I'm still going strong. I've got over 100 private clients in the Valley.
Love
Most
it.
of my clients are seniors and families. I still drive kids to school. I have a lovely 2-year-old client that I pick up every morning and drop him off every afternoon. So yeah, that's the bulk of my people. But I meet people every day and give them my card.
Well,
And yeah,
and you're a professional talent acquisition specialist, but
yes,
it sounds like you have a lot of experience, not just with a history of luxury sales, branding, and marketing, but you sound like you've done a lot of marketing with yourself, your own personal brand as a personal driver, and having over 100 personal clients. That's really cool. That's not easy to do, especially when the market and really what drivers are trained to do in this market on other apps is wait until we give you a client and be grateful no matter what the condition of that client is and how much you're getting paid for that. Because if you're not grateful, we may not bring you another client. Well, that's one of the things we wanted to help with PAX is make it available to help you give instead of like I always say it just about in every podcast. We're not a fish market. We're a fishing pole. We want to
yeah,
help
yeah,
personal drivers professionalize their business, but then also go build their business. Don't tell people about PAX. Tell people about your private driving experience and then book them on PAX so that you can have your insurance covered. We'll pay your airport fees, like all of those things that give you peace of mind. But then also we want to bring a brand of these personal professional drivers so that when somebody books with PAX, they know that that's the quality that they're getting. So you have a lot of experience, and I was hoping to talk to you a little bit. We had a discussion where I was like, "What? Stop talking. We got to get this on the podcast because I want some of the other drivers to know." One, you have the community of PAX is very unique. It's very
yeah,
special that a lot of the other drivers, when we're coming together, they're all trying to help each other be better. And that's another thing that's not typical in this space, this market. I've found that, well, and even a lot of the other apps they're built to pit the drivers against each other
exactly.
because they're all trying to get the bottom dollar to get who's going to take it first. And we want to bring a community of drivers that not only is conscious about the community where they're at, but conscious about their passengers, but also conscious about one another, working well together. And if they figure out a way to break open that coconut, how tell other drivers, hey, this is how I figured it out. This is how I got into
Yes.
getting more clients and getting out there, and I gained confidence. And we just talked. We last podcast I did was with Luke, and we talked about the QR codes and how successful that's been with drivers jumping in on that. And then you've got a bunch of really great ideas. And before I spoil it, I was like, don't tell me yet. Let's get on the podcast. Let's let all the drivers know some of the things that where have you found success in marketing yourself as a private driver? Some of the things that you would steer people toward.
I mean, for me, I think it's the natural cadence and the organic relationship that you build with your passengers while you're driving. A lot of times, of course, we're reading body language. We're reading, did they jump on a work call when they first got in? Then, of course, we're not going to talk to them, right? They're on a work call. Did they say, hi, how is your day going? And when you say, my day's going great, what about you? And then they say, my day's doing great. Have you lived here long? Then you can tell that they're ready to get to know you. They're ready to have a conversation. They're ready to maybe take a break from work or whatever. And so you have to roll with the cadence. You have to understand that this person wants to know more about you. And always, always it's two-sided, right? You're not going to just, feature dump about yourself for 15 minutes and be nauseatingly gross. Like that's not, it's all about like, oh, do you come here for work often? Oh, you came to conference. Okay, cool. Oh, you used to live here. Okay, great. Whatever. And then by that time, in 10, 15 minutes, you've built a relationship. And oh, by the way, here's my card. If you ever need, a drive, just let me know. Let's do it again. That was enjoyable. It was enjoyable. Then they give you a big fat tip and it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's reading the room. That is the mark of a professional for sure. One of the things that when I'm talking to the drivers, I tell them, look, your first impression happens all on its own. Like you don't, I mean, whether it's a good first impression or bad first impression, it's going to happen.
Yes.
So you might as well work to make it a good impression, because that you don't have to work for. It's going to happen. The way that they meet you, they greet you, and the way you present yourself is a first impression that leaves a mark on that person.
Absolutely.
But then in the middle of that, reading the room on the temperature, on whether they could have a bad day, they could have just been
Yep.
dumped. You have no
Yep.
idea. And they're
Yep.
like, listen, I just need to get to my destination. So
Yes.
reading that room is
Yes.
very important.
Yeah.
But always dropping your fish hook in the water
Mhm.
is important.
Yep.
Yeah, and just
Yep.
saying, hey, how's your day going? And if
Yep.
they want to talk to you,
There you
because not
go.
every customer is one that you want to turn into a forever customer.
Exactly.
But
And
if
yeah, that's what we call, I mean, Jamil has said it many times and I agree with him. It's what we call our interview. We are interviewing this passenger just as much as if they're interested in us, they're interviewing us. To interview a passenger where they don't really quite know you're doing it, that's a science. That's an art. And, that's the way that like, when I open my door, if I'm in a place I can open the door. A lot of times it's super busy street and you can't get out and open the door, and that's fine. But like when they hop in, the first thing I say is, "Welcome, come on in." It's like warm,
you know,
right? It's warm.
and
Come into my office.
that
Get in here.
and actually when we were on that was one thing that you did that actually impressed me with and I could tell it was something that you had done plenty of times before, but we were at the 2030 suitcase event. I mean, it was just nobody knew PAX at that point at all. It was our very first. We had just organized it in 3 days, got on the curb, and then we just started talking to people. And when somebody walked by, they're like, those are impressive vehicles. And I was like, hey, meet one of my favorite drivers. This is
Yeah,
Jamie.
yeah,
And you took over right away. We're like, hey, step into my office. And
yeah,
they loved it. And what was
yeah,
really cool is a lot of there was like at least 3 other drivers that ended up saying the same thing, because they realized how well that broke the ice, right? So those are like the good ideas that we
yeah,
want to share. And actually, I want to steer that towards you have a lot of experience with this, not just walking it out and being in the space of marketing yourself as a private driver, but you have a lot of experience there. You have a lot
yeah,
of success there.
yeah.
I would like to put together a few courses, like a master class, for lack of
Uh-huh.
a better term, but and maybe break it into like a 3-part series where we just have a conversation that's literally teaching drivers how do you close. Like, just I was talking to some of the drivers earlier today, even saying, we need to have just a 2-minute video that goes, hey, my name's Daniel, it was a pleasure to serve you today, thanks for allowing me to be your driver, I'd love to be your driver next time, here's my card, schedule me on PAX. I mean, if you practice that cadence, even if the person doesn't want to talk to you, but you close that lasting impression, then you have to you'll convert riders. And Luke is killing it with this right now. He's got these cards that he converted 3 in one day. Like,
Amazing.
people do want to be invited back to that experience of a private
Yes.
driver. They
Yeah.
want that quality. They
Yeah.
want to have somebody that they know gives them peace of mind. And if you can be talkative if they want to be talkative, but also let them sit in silence if they want to sit in silence, and providing them that ride that is peace of mind, you'll find your clients going, I got to get Jamie again because it was awesome.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
I know you want to jump in on that masterclass thing, but I wanted to also give you a high five. Every rider that I'm like, hey, take a ride with Jamie. You can schedule her here. I always follow up. I'm like, hey, how did it go? And they're like, oh my gosh, Jamie is the best. And it's not. I mean, so high five you, Jamie. But
Okay.
I hear that a lot about all of our drivers when I do the follow up. They're like, great for the app, great for the connection, but what made the difference was my driver, and that's really the special part about what we're bringing to the valley, not just this community, but this mentality of drivers that love to drive, love
Yeah.
to be that personal piece that
Yes.
provides that. So
Yeah.
for that, if you could give us maybe a 30,000-foot perspective, just kind of teaser, if you had 3 topics, what would you, if we do this masterclass, what would you want to teach? What are the 3 topics you think would be really important for drivers to sign up for?
Well, I think that, a lot of people hone in the always be closing. That's like kind of the knee jerk go to reaction for people. Mine is different. Mine is ABS, always be selling, right? So, because you can't close unless you sell. So you have to start
That's
with
a
the
great
sales
point.
process, right? So,
Yeah, what are
for
you closing? Right.
yeah, you can't close anything you don't, right? So for me, no
Yeah.
matter where I go, no matter where I go, and it's not nauseating, I fit it in organically. Hey, I'm a professional driver. I know that you were wanting to get to the airport. Here's my card. Like, it's not really that difficult. Passing out 500 cards in a month is not uncommon for me. And
That's it.
it doesn't matter to me. In fact, I just had somebody reach out to me. I passed my card to them in October. Okay. So 8 months ago, well, it was 7 months ago, because they came back in April, and I took their kids and their friends and their dates to prom and back. She paid me $300. I drove them to prom, picked them up from prom, and drove them back. That was a person who waited 7, 8 months to contact me. But those kind of things keep coming back to you. If you put it out into the universe, it'll come back.
Yeah.
Other important thing that people, in professional development fail to really understand is, from first impression all the way to delivery of product or service, you have to be the better and you have to be the different. We live
So
in a
explain that just a little bit. Just a little bit. Explain that a little bit.
live in a world that's super competitive in every industry. Everything we do, you got to know your competitors, and you know there's a competitor. There always is, right? So how do you define yourself as better than your competitor and different than your competitor, right? And the way you can become better is to be different, to
And
not be the norm, to not be
yeah.
the robotic driver who's just like, got the earpiece in and or driving. Like, no, get out. Oh my gosh, I love your shoes. Oh, let me help you with that bag. Like, it's all about relationship building, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's super important. And those things sometimes come innately to people, and sometimes they can be taught and guided
Well,
and just
honestly, there's a there's a bigger piece there too, is valuing yourself, knowing what your value is, and understanding that, like, there's only one you. There's
Yeah.
only one
You
flavor
are
that
Mark
is
too.
Jamie.
Yeah, you
Right,
are.
right.
It's a personal brand. And
Yeah,
what I love
yeah.
about PAX is a PAX is a toolbox. Sorry, I'm doing an anti-aging anti-aging IV. Can you see the IV?
No, no, I can't. You're oh, there you go. That's
Anyway,
awesome. My
yeah,
wife does mobile IV, so
yeah.
that's clever.
Um,
She will love that part of the podcast for sure.
and yeah, and so but anyway, and then we talked about a third masterclass idea, and I can't remember
Oh, yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
What was it? What did we talk about?
Your professional appearance, things like social media. How do you build a foundation that helps promote your brand?
Right. So yeah, so you have to have all those legs, right? You have to be out, marketing yourself, boots on the ground. You're marketing yourself as you're driving. It's a 4 or 5 prong approach, right? So then you're also, I don't do it, but people do, because I'm not a full-time driver. I have a corporate job, right? So, but for you to start an Instagram feed, I was very successful on Nextdoor.
Oh, hey, that's a great idea. I'm
Yeah.
writing that down as we
Yeah.
speak. That's great.
Yeah, I was very successful on Nextdoor. I did a posting last May, and I got 192 private messages.
Okay, so if you're watching the podcast, I mean, when you're casting your hook in the water and you're catching fish in our area, that's a great. I didn't even. I wouldn't even think
Yeah, yeah,
to do that next year. That's a great
yeah.
idea.
Because there's so many people looking for drivers for their kids, or looking for drivers for their mom, or looking for a drive or ride to the airport, or they're just sick and tired of the two titans of industry that have taken over the rideshare
Well,
market.
and just knowing that there's another option in their area, like that's another thing too. Is so many like we approach even these podcasts. A lot we approach this from a driver perspective because we're surrounded by drivers. We're providing the driving experience for our passenger, but there's a whole side of this that is the passenger side that you got to kind of balance both. What are the needs and how can we match it? And one of those things that is out there, a real fear that's out there with the other platforms, is that the fear that they're going to get their ride canceled
Yes,
because for a thousand different reasons.
yes,
When what we're providing is not just like, and for those other platforms, they're shopping by car. There's no personal connection at all. What we want
yes,
to do, and most of those other platforms are trying to remove the human element as fast as possible.
yes,
So
yes,
if what we want to do is full on human experience, this is the person you're
yes,
hiring. This is the small business you're
yes,
investing in. This is the personality that's
yes,
taking you. Like those are all of the things we want to enforce so that, hey, this person is a professional. They're going to schedule you. They're not going to cancel. Like those are the things that we want to make sure that when if you want peace of mind when you ride
yes,
with PAX. Like, and it's I mean, when you add it all up, there's so many benefits to PAX. There's so many. It's so good for local community. It keeps the money local. You're investing in local small business. you're
yes,
you're giving back to you can give back with every ride. You can donate a portion of it to the community partner of your choice. It's like when there is PAX, why would you ride any other way? Like there's when PAX is available, why would you think about driving any other way? Like it's a no-brainer. But again, I'm a little biased.
well, I call that certainty in an uncertain world, right? So
Man, right?
certainty in an uncertain world. I've had riders who, when I drive on the other service, I might be dropping a passenger who's taking a little more time to get out. One time I had to help with a walker, and the guy that I was queued up to pick up next just kept messaging me saying, "Where are you coming? Are you coming?" And I actually called him. I didn't message him. And I called him and I said, "Don't worry, I'm on my way." And he said, "Yeah, I was afraid you were going to cancel. Everybody does." And I said, "Don't worry, I would never cancel on you."
Oh my gosh. See,
Right.
and now you have a rider for life. If they
Yeah.
want a driver, they're gonna call
Yeah.
Jamie. In fact, that brings me to my next point. So I'm going to pull up if you want to schedule with Jamie, if you like what you're hearing and you want to connect with her, I got to tell you, she's an awesome individual. She's just an awesome human being. You would love to meet her. Let me put up your, how they, Let's put it up for 20 seconds. There we go. You can go and order her through the PAX app. If you want to go check out her profile, you can do it at that driver.paxapp.io profile/Jamie. And you can go check her out, look at her ride, know exactly what you're ordering before she arrives, know for certain that she's going to pick you up once she confirms that. So Jamie, why would somebody give us your 2 minute or your 30-second elevator pitch? Why would somebody want to ride with Jamie?
I truly love it. I truly love connecting with people. Ride service started because it was a connection to community. It got away from that. It got away
I
from it.
sure did.
Makes me very sad because, I love connecting with people. Do you have teens in the car? I'll play some, music for your teens. You know what I bring. I mean, I have one client who, after two pickups, he said to me, I have anxiety and you make me nervous when you're here early. When you're here early. Because I always like to show up early. If I have a booked ride, I come like 10 minutes early, right? And so
Yep.
I said, you got it. I said, Adam, I said, next time I will not be early. And I came in right at the book time. And he was like, thank you for that. So, it's all about catering to what you need. I listen, and I deliver a service that, I think is pretty great. So
And that's
there you go.
and I love that you use the word service, because it is a service. It's not a ride share. You're not sharing my car. You're experiencing a service that this small business owner is providing for you. So no, I love that, Jamie. I wish you the best of luck. That I would love to see 1,000 rides come through for you. That would be great. Hopefully they book you on PAX. We'll use
Yeah,
this to help promote you in the future. And then if you're watching right now, or if you watch this in a couple of minutes or hours or even days, this is the official announcement, Jamie. I'm going to commit you to 3 masterclasses to help us help other drivers learn how to level up their professional game. And just all of us are going to benefit from that, just because it's getting out of your own way. You got to learn new things from other people. So no, I
that's right.
love that. I think that that's a great opportunity that we can make available to other drivers. So any closing remarks, anything you want to say before we hop off the podcast?
No, I mean, professional and personal development should be number one. I think everybody can benefit from that, and I would love to help in any way.
Awesome. Well, then we'll hang out. I'm gonna jump us offline,
Yep.
and we can talk about how to schedule that. And then thank you for joining us today. If you watch us online, if you're watching right now, thanks for following, like, and follow all of our social media. We got a bunch of discount codes coming out in the future, so that's where we'll announce a lot of those things. So as those become available, you've got to be somebody that's following to get that stuff. So follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. That helps us spread the word on all the things that we're doing here in the Valley through PAX, and you're a big part of that. So thank you for watching, participating, and being part of that. Have a great day.